Up everybody, DeLuca here, back with another video. So on my one of my live streams, somebody asked me my practice routine, how I go about learning songs. So me being an old dude, I'm gonna go ahead and break it down to you from the beginning, how I used to learn songs back in the day, up to how I learn songs now. So the main important thing is you got to use your ears. Okay, you got to listen. You got to be able to listen and pick out parts of the songs. And that is always my preferred method of learning a song. So let's start in the very beginning. So, like I told you, I'm an old dude. So what I used to do back when there was, when they had record players, I don't know how many of y'all back that old, but we had LPs, right? 33 and a third is the speed, and we put the record on, right? And then we play. Let me get that in the camera. We play this song over and over again and learn by ear. Okay, pick up the needle, drop it back into the spot where we learned it. You could also slow down the turntable a little bit and make it slow it down a little bit. Also, what you could do is turn the bass up on the record player on your stereo. And then what you would do is you would walk into another room in a house or outside of your house, and just like it is when you drive up next to a car with a booming bass, all you hear is bass. So when you walk into another room or outside of the house, you would just hear bass, right? You probably hear drums too, but it would filter out the rest of the song. So I mean, back in the day, I was listening to Bootsy, Curtis Blow. I even had a Van Halen album. I think this is the one with Sammy Hagar, the first one. And, of course, Brothers Johnson. Of course, gotta have that. And then, of course, the Isley Brothers. So what I miss about these, not only is the playing the records, but the insides. You had the inside of the cover, right? Where you could always read. They had lyrics, like they have lyrics here, pictures of the band, and then on the back of the album, you'd have the credits. You'd have, engineer and all that kind of stuff who worked on the record, producer and all that stuff. That's what I miss about that. So back in the 70s, early 80s, this is how you learn records. Of course, if you had an 8-track tape, I don't know if y'all even know what an 8-track tape is, but you would learn that. Also, cassettes, you would learn from cassettes. All this is learning by ear, okay? You would play it over and over again, rewind, play that little section over and over again. Cassettes were another way, right? Back in the day. Then, of course, the CDs came out. Commodores, Prince, greatest hits. And what I would do when I was first starting out learning songs, I wouldn't necessarily buy an album on CD. I'd buy the greatest hits. Like, this is the greatest hits. This is one of Prince's greatest hits CDs. And then I would buy old school funk. Great. It's like a compilation. A bunch of old school stuff on here, like OJ's, Lakeside, Whispers, all this stuff, right? Then I would buy one for the 80s. All those pop tunes from the 80s. Your Rhythmics, all this kind of stuff. The Fix, all these bands on there, right? Then, of course, you got to have the disco one. All right. Still learning by ear, right? I wasn't reading music at that time. Develop your ear because that's the most important thing you're gonna have to work with. Okay. So, as you see, That's how I started out. So as things became more advanced, then you would get into, once you started learning a little bit about reading music, what you would do. Let me see a couple things here. You get a book. Like this is a real, I think it's a real fake book. It's a fake book. What it is a bunch of jazz tunes in there. Okay, let me see. Get it up to the camera. Yeah, let me see. It's so small, I can't even read this damn book no more. It's too small for me, man. But back when I was young, I could read this shit. But it's got a bunch of jazz standards in there. And what's cool about it is it doesn't have the bass lines. It has the chord chart along with the melody of the song and sometimes some lyrics, right? Then there's of course the real book. This is what the jazz guys use. It's called a real book, right? Same thing as that little book I just showed you. It would show you chord charts of a song. So I just randomly picked a couple of these songs here. There's no lyrics there, but you see at the top, you see a G minor 7 on that song Once I Loved. And then you see a C7 and there's something in the bracket I can't tell here, but you get the point. So basically, this assumes as a bass player, you know what's in a chord and you know what's in a scale because it gives you the key of the song. It tells you it's in 4/4 time signature, and then it tells you what chords are there. So this is assuming that you're a little more advanced or intermediate, something like that. Okay, this isn't for beginners. This wouldn't be for beginners. But this is what my evolution of learning songs was. Okay, so after that, then it came to little devices like this. Okay, it's a Tascam GB10 guitar and bass trainer recorder. Okay, what this does, you plug it into your computer. Let me see. I remember how to do this. You plug your headphones in there, and it's got a USB port, power adapter. Runs on batteries too. You plug your guitar into here, bass or guitar, and then you can set up your input. Basically, this is a loop trainer. It records the song that you want to learn, and then you can slow it down. And then you can, what they call phrase trainers, I think that's what they call them, where you can slow it down and just isolate a certain phrase. Okay? I don't use this anymore because I got better shit now, man. Okay? Now, all this time, I'm still using my ears. The only time I would use something like this is there's a part that I don't understand. Or there's a little passage or a little part of a bass line that I'm not getting right, and I need to isolate it, right? I don't use this to learn the whole bass line. So I learn the whole bass line by ear as much as I can, and if there's a part that I'm stuck on, that's when I break this thing out. Okay? So like I said, I don't use that anymore. So here's some of the things. Let me switch cameras. Let me switch angles. Yes, let me switch. Oh, yeah. So let me show you what I use today. So there was an evolution of what I used to do is I used to use Midi files. Okay. These are little files that somebody made on their keyboard, and it's a pop songs or whatever kind of song you're looking for. So I went through and downloaded a bunch of them and categorized them in 80s. So you see all these different names there. Okay, these are little, and they're little small files. Okay, they're not much at all. But what's cool about them is not only can you can play them, but you can, with the right software, you can actually turn it into sheet music, and bam, like that. So, like this is a song called Black Velvet. It was popular back in the 90s, right? Okay, I just randomly pulled this up. So what it does and this is a MIDI file. This is a MIDI file. So somebody made this on a keyboard somewhere and did all the instruments individually. Every instrument is broken down into a different track, right? And then there's a mixer on this software. By the way, the software I'm using is MuseScore. Okay, there's other softwares out there you can use. This is the one I use. I've actually paid for it because not only can it play MIDI files, but you can actually write sheet music. You can actually write your own sheet music, okay, with this. And that's not part of this video, so we won't talk about that part. So, like I said, what's cool about this, so like say I wanted to learn Black Velvet, right? Where's my mouse? So I would load the file up, right? and you hear it starting. It's counting. Now it sounds cheesy, but I don't care about that. I'm just there to get the bass notes. So you got that right. But if you just want the bass line, you can, with the software, you just hit the solo button. You got not only the ISO bass part, you got all the notes along the top. So you can figure out your bass part, those hard to find bass parts, or those tough bass parts you couldn't figure out. Now you got to search around on the internet for see, it changed right there, right? So, and then you just bring the rest of the song. But you can, so you get the point. So that's another way I would isolate bass lines, right? Find a MIDI file, find a player like this, isolate it, and either read the notes or learn it by ear just by isolating it, just like I just did. Okay? What's cool about this software too is, of course, you can mix it up and down. You can mix each individual track up and down, so I could turn the synth up and down and all these different things, right? Up and down, or just mute them out. This S button solo is what we were listening to with the bass. Muting, I can mute each channel. The mixer slides that way, right? So this is one way to learn a song, right? Okay, this is way I do it. And you can change the sound of the instrument. So if I don't like that bass sound, I could change it to, like, I'm going to go extreme. I'm going to put a synth bass in there, right? So, see? Slap bass. That's what's cool about MIDI, and you not only can do that with the bass, but you can do it in each one of these instruments, okay? So that's another way I would learn how to play songs, okay? So let's go to the next way to learn songs. So let's minimize the MIDI files. Like I said, I keep them all in categories so I can find them easy. And if there's a song that I need to get that I don't have, I go on the internet and find it. Now, are MIDI files perfect? Are they perfect every time? No. Sometimes you will find some that are just way off. Just delete that shit. Okay? You can tell if it's not right. Just listen to it. If it's not right, doesn't sound right to you, delete it. You didn't pay anything for it. You know what I mean? So just move on to the next one. So the next thing we're going to talk about is what I use. This is what I use currently. One of the things. I go to this website here called Ultimate Guitar Tabs, right? So say there's a song, but I usually use this stuff for bass, learning a song that doesn't have like a defined bass line. It's just chords, right? And I can kind of make up on my own stuff. So I find stuff like this, and what this does is, I'll show you. You just pick a song. I'm just gonna let's pick this Ed Sheeran thing. Okay, this asks me to choose my instrument. Ah, yeah. Okay, let's just say rock. What the hell's this thing doing? I'm a rock star. I don't know what that is. Oh, man, what is going on here? What the hell? I might have to come back to that bad boy. Oh, man. So let me do this. Let me see. Let me see if I can do perfect Ed Sheeran. So it's got a search bar up here. See, folks, this is live. So what you do is you type in the name of the song, and then you scroll down, and there's different versions of it. What that means is somebody probably changed the key, played it in different keys. And this is another thing. This is like the MIDI files. You got to look at it. And once you play along with it, you'll know if it sounds right. Once you play along with it, you'll be like, that don't sound right. Then you just go to the next one, right? It's no big deal. So like I chose that one, this one right here, because it had the most views, right? So it tells you the chords in the song, right? Now these are, like I said, these aren't bass lines. This is not a bass line. But if I had to play this song perfect, I know there's no defined bass line. You just follow the chords. So I would just go, I know right there's a G. I know right when he says this, you're kind of following along as he sings. And there's a G right there and there's an E right there. The whole thing. You just play along with it. And if there's a note that doesn't match, you just make a note of it, right? You just make a note that, okay, that C's not right. It's really something else. And then you just figure it out by ear or whatever. But this is kind of the thing that I do, right? Especially when I'm in a hurry. This website here comes in handy when I'm in a hurry. Like I got to learn a song within a day or a few hours. Okay, that kind of thing. It tells you the key of the song. Like this one, I can tell probably is in a different key. I think this is not the original key. I think the original key is A flat. So I think this has been this is a different version. Okay, so this is just basically one site. There's a couple of different sites like this out there. I like using this one because they have a lot of songs on here. Okay, but like I said, you got to go through it. See, like here it says more versions. Official version is probably definitely the right key, but like version 2, you know, this one's in G also. Okay, so I would, if you want to play it in G, that's cool. But I would try to find whatever the original key at, which I think is A flat, but I can't remember. I can't remember. I played this song before, but I can't remember. But this is one of the sites I use. Okay. Now let's go to another way I learn songs. This is another website I use. It's called Chordify. Okay. I use this a lot right now. Okay, this is not a free website. You do pay for it by the year, I think. I can't remember how much I paid. But what you do is you search for a song, you know, and what it does, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't give you the bass line, but it tells you the structure, it tells you the chords in the song. So, like, you can see there, it has some recommendations, suggestions based on my taste here, because I must have been listening to some rock stuff. That's why it's coming up. Because I had Blues Brothers Soul Man up. Cause I was working on that in Wagon Wheel, and so basically it brings up suggestions based on what your recent thing was. But like, say there was some kind of song that I want to listen to. Give me an example here. Let's say Commodores, right? Let's see what it does. So it gives you a list of songs by the Commodores right there, right? And when it says chordified, that means it's already been analyzed by their system, and the chords have been printed out, right? So what it does, it pulls. These are YouTube videos. These are all YouTube videos. You can see underneath it says YouTube, and then it tells you how many times people have jammed along with it. 2,900 times, 9,000 times. So like, if I was going to do the song "Easy" by the Commodores, I click on it, and what it does, it loads the chords of the song in, no lyrics, but each little square represents not a bar, but a beat. So 4/4, four beats in a measure. Okay, eight bar, 2 bar count off, and then two, A flat to C minor 7, and it what it does, you when you hit play there, this thing starts moving, right? It starts moving, right? And then you play along with it as the video plays. Now, what's cool about this? It tells you the key of the song right there, but you can change the key by moving these arrows up and down, right? And these notes will change, right? Also, too, you could change the way it looks. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. I don't know what that is. So diagrams here. You can do a guitar, thing right there, which shows you the chords on the guitar. Diagrams, right? And then piano. I'll put it back to piano, ukulele, that. Okay. And then you can break it down like that. So it's got a lot of different ways to do it, right? So I like overview. That's the tab I like because I can just play along and follow along there. Sometimes it gets it wrong. Sometimes there might be a bad note in here, but that's okay because you can fix that. You can just say, okay, that's not right. And sometimes, because it's a computer analyzing this, right? So sometimes it might get it wrong. So also what's cool about this, you can slow the tempo down, just like I used to do on the records, on the 45s and the LPs back in the day. Right now it's at 100%. You can slow it down to where, and it tells you an estimated BPM of 67, but you can slow it down by just pressing that. See, it dropped it down to 50. Okay, I wouldn't recommend going below 50% because then it starts sounding weird and muddled. What's good about it though, when it drops down in speed, the key stays the same, so it doesn't change keys, which is good. So, also, what's another good feature is loop. If you just want to loop a section, you just highlight. Like, okay, I don't want to play that because I don't want no copyright by YouTube. So you get the point. It'll just play this highlighted section over and over again until you get it right. Okay, you can print it out, the chords. You can simplify the chords too, right there. See, so you got a C minor 7. If I hit simplify chords, it just changes to a C minor. You as a bass player really doesn't matter. I would just keep it at the normal, okay? And I've never tried the Midi stuff. I guess you can download the chords as Midi file for audio and score editing. So I guess you can download it as a Midi file. I've never done this. And then you could play it in that other software, MuseScore, the one I had before. Okay, so this is one of the things I use a lot. But remember, like I said in the beginning, I always use my ears. Always start out with your ears. Try to learn the song as much as you can with your ears. And then you start going to tools like this. Or if you're in like a big hurry and you need to learn something fast, then you break out these tools like this one and the ultimate guitar thing. This one here with the chords lined up for you, that kind of thing. That's quick stuff, you know. But it takes experience because you got to know what notes you got to play along with this. You got to follow the lyrics and play along with it. But you get practice makes perfect, man. And the last thing, this is something I do not use, but I thought I'd bring it up for you guys anyway, is our bass tabs. Okay? I recommend this book right here. It's called Slap It. For you guys trying to learn how to slap bass. This is an old school book that came out in the 70s, I think. It's got a bunch of lessons in there, and this is one of the lessons. It's a basic little two bar slap phrase, right? It tells you what it is. When it says T, that means thumb, and that's a hammer. With your left and right hand, your left hand. So you hammer the notes. You go do, like that. So, and then the P is pluck, right? Okay, so these are the actual notes, but what underneath is a bass tab. Okay, that's what I'm talking about here. Bass tabs are kind of a way to learn bass lines without having to learn how to read music or use your ear. I don't recommend doing this. A lot of guys ask me about tabs. I'm not a tab guy, but if that's what you want to do, man, you do what you got to do. So the way the tabs work, each line represents a string on the bass. So you start from the bottom. So this is a 4-line tab. So this is a 4-string bass. Okay, and each number represents a fret on the bass on the whichever string. Okay, so the 0 on the first line means an open E. You just hit the open E on the E string. That's what the 0 means. 0 fretted, open. That's an open note. 5, that's a fifth note, the 5th fret on the A string, hammered onto the 7th fret on the A string. Same here, 7th fret on the G string, hammered on to the 9th fret of the G string. These little X's are mutes, like you're just mute, poop, poop, poop. Not really hitting a note, but it's telling you to mute on the A string, mute on the G string, back to the A string, another hammer on, another mute, hit the sixth fret on the G string, so on and so on. So that's what a tab is. Now, if you see 5 lines or 6 lines on a tab, that means it's a 5 or 6 string bass. So if you get a 5-string bass, you'll see a 5-line tab. That's what that is. Okay. So basically what that is right there. This bass line that's written out is tabbed out right here. Okay. I'm not an expert on tabs because, like I said, I don't use them, but I know the basics of how they work. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I recommend, like I said, buy this book. It comes with a CD. I even have it here. See that? That's how I've had this book for years. It's all tore up. That's how long I've had this book. Okay. Let me see what year this thing came out. It's a copyright. It cost me $19.95. I know it costs a lot more these days. I don't remember. I don't know when this was copywritten. 1981 and 2005. So this book first came out in 1981. Okay. But it's got a lot of great lessons in it, especially for you would-be slappers. And that's what they look like here on the screen. That's what the lessons look like in the book. And for you tab guys, it's got some tabs underneath. And then there's another example there. There's a few examples here. Okay. And it looks like there on this, at least on here, there's an example, of what the sound is, of what it sounds like. This little CD right there, that's on the CD itself that comes with the book. Lesson number or track number 42 on the CD. So this video is long, man, but I had to get this info out to you. Like I said, nothing's more important than your ears. But what you want to do, you got to have some stuff there to help you out. You got to have some stuff to help you out. So that's what I do when it comes to learning songs. You do what you can. You make it work. Okay. So there's other software out there. There's other websites out there besides what I use. Don't just go by what I use. Search for yourself. Leave in the comments below if you know of some cool websites, especially to do transcription or, stuff like what I do with Chordify, like this website. Oh, let me switch back. Like this website. If there's something else out there that's better than this, let me know. Let everybody know about it. But this is the one I use. Also, if there's better software than MuseScore as far as doing MIDI files, definitely let everybody know. Whatever. And then, of course, the ultimateguitar.com thing. If there's anything out there better than this, too. These are all very helpful, depending on the style of music you're playing and how fast you need to learn a song. They're all good. And with that being said, make sure you leave some comments below. Subscribe to the channel. This is a bass lesson without the bass. Okay. So, and I'll catch up with you next time. Like I said, like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, leave comments, and share the video, y'all. And with that being said, let me get myself back in the camera. That's it, y'all. I'll talk to you later.